What's up guys, Shay Stevens here, PDGA number 77522, and today we're checking out the shorts here at Thompson Park Disc Golf Course. Let's get to it. How's it going, guys? So it's about a week after my last round was at Mercer, and I'm just playing the shorts today to test my shoulder out, to make sure it's still good, feeling all right. Also checking out the shorts here at Thompson as a potential course to bring my nephew to. I've seen them, I've never actually played them, so I want to make sure it's actually a good layout for him. I don't want to, beat him up too badly. And I got to get a quick round in because the weather is absolutely horrible. It's a Memorial Day weekend. It poured yesterday. It's going to rain all weekend, but there's a brief window in the rain. Really windy though. The storms are moving in. So I drove over here to Jersey because I knew the sandy soil would drain faster, and also drove up north here to Thompson just because the storms are tracking further south, so it would buy me another hour or two before they roll in. But yeah, starting off here, the shorts are the white tees, the blues are the longs. Same tee pad here on hole 1, 264, basket's right there. We have a pushing right to left tailwind. So I'm gonna go with a forehand to start my day. I'm gonna go Terra, just to guarantee that overstability finish back to the basket. A little on the shorter side, but we're out there. All right, not terrible to start the day. It could have been a little bit higher, would have got me more carry up to the basket. So we're hanging out here about 30 feet. Weak side. All right, gotta dial that in. All right, kind of an interesting setup here on hole 2. I've never noticed this before. The tee pad is pitched like this. I don't know if the tee pad's been moved or not. It's not really bolted down, but it looks like it's pretty set where it is. But the tee sign is right where you're throwing, technically. So if you're going to throw like a big turnover shot, kind of got an obstacle here. So the play is really just smash a hyzer outright. I'm going to go with my stable vision photon. I'm throwing back down to that head crosswind, so I just got to make sure I don't turn this over into the road. That would be bad times. I got scared a little bit by a drive coming from the last hole, but we're up there. All right, so I got this little upshot left. The wind is moving though. I can feel it here. Leaves up there aren't showing. I don't know if the trees are blocking the wind. This is interesting. I mean, the trees to my left here are ripping. Up there though, they're pretty stagnant. But I'm just gonna play the entropy up just to make sure I have that overstability back into the basket. That should be cool. Yeah, definitely a weird wind I've never noticed here. Like the bottom leaves of that tree that we were looking at before, they're moving, but you go 10 feet above them, dead still. So like the wind's coming low over the hill and you can barely feel it, or it's not really present up top, but you can feel it down low. All right. All right, so the last hole actually was a par 4. Pretty soft, but for considering like the white tees, beginner tees, that's pretty on point. Now we're here on hole 3, also a par 4, 516 from the white. So you can see the basket through the tunnel there. So you do have the right gap and the left gap. Left gap is a little more enticing. So I think this might be like a forehand shot. And I am trying to really work the forehand just because, tell me this sounds familiar, guys, like you get hurt and you have to throw forehands, and then your forehands get serviceable, but then you heal up and you go back to your backhand and your forehand goes to crap again. So I'm trying to keep it polished because it's actually been working really well for me. So trying to make sure I can use it when I need it. So we're going to go overstable fission photon, left gap on forehand. All right, that should be an open shot. All right, this is about where a drive from the longs lands for me. So we're about 320 out. The winds are just so gusty, guys. It's gonna be really tough reading them today. So I have head left, right. So I think my play is actually gonna be a flex with the Terra, just to ride the wind a little bit, but then fight back. Hopefully get myself a look. Didn't flex it enough though. All right, long look, that stinks. Yeah, like I said, the wind's gonna be hard to read, guys. I threw that one expecting a headwind, crosswind just to turn me over more, and it just died as soon as I let go of the disc and wound up nice and short over here. So, like circle two's edge, maybe going outside that. Float one up there, see if we can get it. Oh, thought I stole it. I will say my step putts have been feeling great. I just gotta get them locked in a little bit more, but the releases are clean. They're flying my lines. I just gotta get the vertical down. All right, we got hole 4, par 3, 249. It's interesting from the long tees. It's basically a hyzer and hope. You have to miss so much duff. Here, it feels like just a stock hyzer. I do want to keep it lower though, because there are some branches sticking out that are going to ruin lives. So I'm going to go, there's a straight gap. There's even a forehand gap, but you're really tight on the tee pad here. So then I'm just going to go hyzer up the main gap here. Try to swing to the basket over there. I'm trying to frame this up. It's a little tricky. That is what I want. Oh! I thought I got it. Oh, that would have been a sick skip ace. I think I went just behind the basket. I'll have to double check the footage. There is one tree like dead center of that fairway that's got to be like the absolute spoiler. I might try fireball next time. We'll see, but Terra worked out really well. There's a good birdie. Hole 5, 219. Just sitting right there asking for it. The only question is how much do those branches on that tree on the right poke out? And I do not know. See, from the long, I usually either throw like a baby turnover or a chip forehand. This is a backhand hyzer, especially with the junk on the left here. So I'm gonna go stasis, just right at it. It's basically 220, that's how far I throw the stasis. And that little bit of headwind is playing games with me again. You're back to headwind from left to right. Hold me! Ugh, it's not as good as I want to be. Again, it's like Mother Nature's just sitting there with her hand on the fan switch, just turning it off and on. I was waiting for the wind just to hold me straight, and it never showed up. So, a bit of a lengthy putt. Those branches aren't really much of a spoiler unless you're coming in too high. So, honestly, if you hit them, you'll probably get knocked down near the basket. So, I got to trust the disc out wider next time. Just short and scared the squirrel. And these squirrels are brave. Okay, hole 6, par 4, 444. Basket straight ahead there. So you have an option, you can bail out left, although it does bring some tree branches in the way. The ideal play is a shot out to the right. However, from the longs, I feel like there's like a magical vacuum on the right that just like sucks the disc over to the right. So I'm a little bit afraid of that, especially coming from this angle. And I mean, the wind's also throwing that way too. So I want to go stable fishing photon for distance. But I think I'm going to go over stable just to be safe. Because worst case scenario is I land somewhere up by those double trees. And I should be able to throw a hyzer approach still. So yeah, let's just give this a good rip. Could have used a little more air, but she's fighting to stay up. All right, she got me. She gave me the distance I wanted. All right, so like I always say, disc golf is like trying to keep a bunch of spinning plates going. So if you watched in my Mercer video, I was really focusing on my shoulder and like getting comfortable again with just throwing with my normal power and, you know, telling my body it's not going to hurt to do it. And I watched my footwork and it's actually really bad. I was, you know, basically leaving my back foot open a lot. So I was throwing with all arm. So now I'm really focusing on keeping my hip closed for that throw. And of course, you focus on one thing, something else gets in trouble. So I got to work on my elevation, get my angles right. This is pretty stock, it's a little bit tight, but I'm going to throw low under these branches on a little bit of hyzer. Just check this one up nice and close. Shouldn't need to walk up, I should be able to stand still, this boy. Yep, nice and easy. See, I'm tripping down memory lane too a bit. Or the last time I played here, it was the Basket Case Classic, and it was like a crazy safari layout. It really made this course fun. The next time we threw down this tunnel shot instead of the regular tee pad, really challenging. Good birdie there. Hole 7, par 4, 429. Basket's down and to the right a little bit. You can kind of see that cluster of trees on the woodline. I think the basket's back in there. So it's kind of tempting to throw a flex shot and just bomb this thing, but there's just enough junk on the left to make me worried about it. And then I am worried again the wind's pushing to draw me to that right side rough. That definitely takes birdie out of play. So I'm going to go with the overstable fission photon again. Kind of the same shot though. That one was sneaky. I was throwing over a valley and then the other side was higher. So that was definitely messing with my elevation gauge. Here I'm going up a little bit of a bump, but then it definitely drops down toward the tail end of the flight. So I kind of want to run this hopefully like 10 feet off the ground and then get some air on the backside when it's going over the bump. That'll do. That should be an easy up and down. Oh yeah, this is totally eagleable. Just need to be brave enough to turn something over just a little bit. And it has to finish back left, though. There's a lot of stuff on the right that can mess with you. So I'm going to go forehand stasis up shot here, get it nice and close. All right, could be a little closer. All right, so my miss on my forehand approach shots has usually been wide, and now I'm overcorrecting, so I got to work on that. Just trust the disc out wide, let it be overstable, do its thing. All right, hole 8, par 4, 399. Got some water in the front of the tee pad. Trying to get rid of that a bit, but it's really puddled. I can only do so much. I am excited. One of the big complaints about this course is these rubber tee pads didn't grip well to begin with, and then you combo sandy soil, and they can be very slippery. So that was like the one thing really holding this course back for a while. And the park just didn't really show an interest in it, but there's a new park manager now who has heard our concerns. It's not just that they kind of look cheap, they're also just not safe. You'll see a lot of the tee pads are worn out on the sides because people would rather throw off the ground than these. But the new park manager, heard the complaints, took them seriously, and they've actually been installing new tee pads here. So big shout out to the park manager. Really appreciate that. So hopefully we'll see some of those tee pads as we get through the course. So this is an interesting look here, especially with this new tree planted right in the middle. So you have a tight hyzer flip up the right, or it's a big flex shot. And I think flex is the play. We are going into a headwind. I've been throwing the overstable fission photon really well. Let me try the stable guy. So I'm trying to drag it over, and I think the angle, if I set this right, won't be in too much danger of going to the right side rough. Oh yeah, and the fight back at the end. We might have a long look at this one. All right. Circle's edge. Throwing a little uphill and into a headwind. I'll take it. Eagle look here. Let's see if I can knock it down. Yoo-hoo! Let's go. That's honestly one of my favorite flights in disc golf. Just the panning and hyzer that's fighting back a little bit and pushing forward still. Just looks so cool. Definitely an interesting tee shot here on hole 9, 252, par 3. The big hyzer is there, but you gotta go really high to get over this guy. There's a low hyzer line I'm eyeing up. Then you have like a turnover line. You also have a big forehand over the top line. Tailwind right, left. I think I'm just gonna throw an envy on that low line. We're gonna go with my Neutron soft envy. Just getting the angle right, it's gonna be tricky. Oh, the wind lift through the branch. It's on the shorter side than what I want. Another seemingly easy hole that I'm making way too hard. All right, so little right, left, but it's actually down right now. So let's see if I can take advantage of that. Knock this down. Almost had it. Gotta play that little fade. All right, guys, there's a gentleman playing behind me, so I don't want to stand in front of the basket there and hold him up. I'll do the outro, but yeah, it's the front 9. Hopefully that lawnmower isn't too bad right now, but yeah, decent round so far. I know I could play better. I gave up 2 easy holes, I think, but yeah, I think I'm still like -6 or something with the, you know, the eagle on that short par 4. But having fun so far. Definitely a fun little track I've never tried out yet. But for final thoughts, back to Shay.
So a decent score for the front 9. As you can see, the shorts at Thompson are very scoreable. But like I said, I was out there that day just banging off some post-injury rust, trying to find my game again. And, you know, open courses actually present an interesting challenge for me. I have a spatial recognition disorder. It wasn't diagnosed till like my senior year of high school, and it was crazy. Like I drove my art teacher nuts. I loved her classes, but I could not do a perspective piece to save my life. Like I had this cool idea to do a drawing of a hallway, and I just messed it up completely, and I had no idea what was wrong. But how that relates to disc golf is the fewer objects I have to orient off of, the harder time I have gauging distances. So you put a basket in an open field, it is a real pain for me to figure out how fast I need to throw the disc to get to the target. Like hole 2, that upshot, it felt like I was throwing that disc 40 long of the basket. But from experience of throwing that upshot, I knew I had to throw it harder than I think I need to, because if I didn't, I was going to throw the disc probably 30 to 40 short. And it's definitely an upshot you don't want to short that badly. So you see on my channel all the time, my common miss is short of the basket, and that's just my disorder, is that I underestimate how far something is. It doesn't look as far to me as it really is. So something I struggle with. Is just fun because, you know, people say like open park golf is super easy. Kind of hard for me, but hey, you know, first world disc golf problems. But I hope you guys enjoyed the front 9. I'll have the back 9 cut together for you guys as soon as possible. With that, I want to say thank you guys for all your support. If you have any questions for me, reach out. I'll do my best to answer them. Take care.
Thank you to my sponsors. For all your disc golf needs, check out Phoenix Discs and Foundation Disc Golf.